Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today on Super Saturday? It is another great day to be alive and another gift, not only to receive, but to give as well. Listen, I had to come to you yet again today on this great and amazing conversation that's before us today. And I'm going to put this as a reply back into this great collaborative article here on LinkedIn. And also, I'm going to put this very video as well in our newsletters for humanity, talking about this very same topic today because it surely just resonates with me. And I'm just kind of called to do this in and of itself. And what the um, conversation is going to be surrounding about, and I'll bring it up to you guys here so you can see it. And for those who actually are in this collaborative article, I would love to create an awesome opportunity and create a conversation with you and have that meet and greet call with you on this very topic in and of itself. And I would love that to be. But this is what really started it off, ladies and gentlemen. And I kid you not, it really just hit home for me. Here's how you can foster open and honest communication in the workplace. Now, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very pivotal and very engaging question to ask. How can we foster open and honest and maybe authentic conversations and communication in our workplaces today? And that's something we should always be mindful of in and of itself. Is how do we do that? How do we create that conversation or even create that very opportunity to really to connect, not only to listen, but listen to learn and maybe listen to lead as well. Because I truly believe if we can all become better listeners, then we can all become better learners, and then we can all become better leaders in and of itself. So it's already there. And of course, I will also go to the great John C. Maxwell and his great book, uh, Everyone Communicates, You Connect. Think about that. We all communicate in one way, shape, form, or another to give others kind of like, this is what I'm talking about today. This is who I am today. This is what's going on in my life today. We've done that for eons. But do we actually connect when we communicate? And that's a big thing. So when you really think about, ladies and gentlemen, how do we create that conversation to connect and then connect to collaborate and then collaborate to really build upon something that we can really see together in and of itself? And for me, and what we've done here at Bringing Humanity Together, and what I've done for a great number of years, is just put out the gift of invitation. Say, this is my great idea. This is what I'm thinking. This is who I am. This is what I can see myself doing here. This is what my gifts, talents, and strengths tell me to be in one way or another. And it's just about having the gift of allowing things to happen and everything like that. Because when you create a space and place to where everything is open and engaging and really fostering not only that authenticity, but also that little discovery in and of itself. And also, when we do it from intentionality, because what's the Alta Connection really stand for? It's about, again, intentionality, authenticity, and discovery literally is interconnected. It's all there. So that's how we can have great and engaging conversations when we do it, not only from the gift of invitation, but literally the art of connecting. And there's no right way or wrong way to do that. And here's why. What we probably have done in our workplaces today, ladies and gentlemen, is we share with what we want to have done in kind of like the top down kind of dynamic that say, if you're going to do these particular things and get said outcome, this is because I'm telling you to do it and kind of wanting that to get done. But from when you really think about it from a leadership perspective, is that what's actually occurring from the place of not only of leadership, but also from a place of human connectivity? Because again, I will go back to where John C. Maxwell says in his great book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's not a title, it's not a rank, it's not even a position. It's influence. And how we show up to that very influence, or even how we even show up at all, will dictate where people will do those things you ask of them. Not what you tell them, but what you ask of them to do. Because they want to do it, not because they have to do it. And think about it, when we look at leadership as not a rank, title, a position, and again, is that very influence in and of itself. I truly believe the better question to ask is, how do we even show up to that influence? How do we even show up as a leader? How do we even show up as a human being? And when you put everything together in context, then you can create something very deep and meaningful to everyone on your team. Everyone is just as valued and just as important than the next. From the CEO all the way down to the janitor, everyone is equal by very design. It's already there. So the communication shouldn't just be from the top down, but also from the bottom up. And here's why. When you do things in a one-sided kind of dynamic, then people kind of get either terrified, or they become fearful, or they be thinking to themselves, maybe I don't need to share this because it may not be a great idea, or it may not be in alignment to what the organization or the team wants and everything like that. And we kind of shut ourselves off from that. But to really change that dynamic, ladies and gentlemen, the way that we have done it here at Bring Humanity Together is just keep it open and inviting. And again, I will go back to that great video from Julia Dar, and I even put it in that very collaborative article, and I'll also put it in our newsletter too as well on this, is where Julia Dar says in that great video about having conscious conversations is, can we choose curiosity over clash? Can we use conversations each and every single time that they show up to us, or even the very opportunities there within, to move the needle and dialogue forward for all involved? And then maybe at the end of the day, be rooted in common purpose. Because again, think about it. When I talked about earlier about intentionality is going to be there in and of itself. But then when we add intentionality to flow and alignment and agreement, all those four things literally come together in and of itself. So when we put it out there to our teams, or even the individuals in and of itself on those teams, we want it to be so inviting and so engaging and really a part of who they are. Then they can be able to say, hey, I'm in alignment with Bob on this great idea, but I'm not yet with them on agreement. Or vice versa. Hey, Bob, I'm in such an agreement with you on this great idea, but I'm not yet with you on alignment. So how do we bridge that gap when that occurs to each and every single one of our team members on our team? The way that you can do that is you allow that place and space to be there for them, to where if they are a team leader, or they are a team member, or even a division team lead, or a VP, or whatever that might be, you just literally say to them, and you put out, again, through the gift of the invitation, I would love for you to take that journey with me, Susie, to get from alignment to agreement with Bob. Or same thing in turn, Bob can say, hey, Susie, I would like to take that journey with you and you with me from alignment to agreement and everything. So if you just let that be there and have that a place that really unites the whole team together, or even the organization as a whole together, maybe that's how you can move the needle in dialogue toward it, or even creating more opportunities there within, because you're just allowing that to occur and just having that. Because when you keep everything open and inviting, and yes, I know there's some things that you can't share with everybody, and that's okay, and everything like that, because there's always a time and a place to share things that maybe some other people shouldn't be privy to at that given moment, and everything like that. But if you still keep people in the general loop, then that's sometimes what people really want. They want to know where we're going, how are we going to get there, how's that going to look like, how's that going to affect me, how's that going to affect our team, and everything like that. But if you just move it forward, even if it's an inch a day, or a yard a day, or 1,000 miles a day. It doesn't matter how far you move forward. As long as you're moving it forward, that's all that matters. It's not about how fast you move or how big of a leap that you do. It's not about that. It's about continuously learning and improving and enjoying the journey there within, even when it comes to communication. Because, see, what I've learned, especially from my father, and he said this very great question to me in and of itself. He said, Chris, do you know what the greatest question is to ask of everyone and anyone on your team? And it's probably the one that you never ask. Is the thing about the greatest question to ask is literally sometimes the one you never ask. So if you never ask that great question of yourself each and every single day, and also to others, then people are never going to know what is in your mind, or what's on your heart, or what do you dream in your head. Because if you don't share it with them, they will never know. And then that's when we get into a place of assuming when it's not actually based in reality. And we don't want to jump the gun on that. So that's why on every team that we should move humanity forward with on moving forward, is create that kind of table kind of atmosphere that everyone can to sit at the same table and really ask themselves, how can I help and serve you? How can I effectively not only lead our team and lead our organization, but more importantly, how can I lead you to the next level? Because we know that if we rise you to the next level, we will rise with you, because we rise by lifting others. And that's very powerful, ladies and gentlemen. I kid you not. And John C. Maxwell even said it in that very same book, The 21 Different Laws of Leadership. He said that there's a great distinction between, and he said it's probably the greatest myth that we have been asking of ourselves for a great many years, that there's a difference between leadership and management. Management's always about the day-to-day, the workflow, the processes, and everything in between. But when you really think about it, leadership is completely different. Leadership is, again, about helping others and getting them to where they want to go, not only in business, but maybe in life itself. Being one who's open to not only lead, but also open enough to follow. Because when you really think about it, leaders can't be leaders if they can't follow, and followers can't be followers if they can't lead. So it's all interconnected. It's all there. So when you just put yourself out there, not only from a place of leadership or even followership, you say, hey, I'm willing to listen, listening to learn, and listening to lead. And then that will help not only yourself grow and thrive like never before, but also will help your team and division and those very people that comprise that very culture inside that team to grow and thrive like never before too as well. You are, again, through the gift of invitation, it's literally letting that be for each and every single one of them, to be united by it. And I truly believe, ladies and gentlemen, that's the way we can probably not only effectively communicate moving forward in our workplaces today, but effectively give people an opportunity to grow and thrive when we make it about them and not about us anymore. Because I truly believe in the power of the ask. If we ask of people, hey, I want to find out from you on this. What do you think about this? Or can you do this for me to finish this proposal? And if you was to approach it, how would you approach it? And I truly believe in the power of ask. I really do. We should never be demanding of anybody anymore. We shouldn't be putting people in boxes anymore. We want people to be who they were meant to be right from the very get-go. Because think about it. We are not them, and they are not us. So we can't put ourselves in their proverbial world and know where they're wanting to go, because, again, we're not them. Or they in turn are literally not us. But then again, if you was to reframe that and really change that dynamic around to where you can allow them to see or even believe what you believe is not only as a leader, but as an effective communicator, then in turn, they're going to allow you to see and believe what they see and believe, not only as their way of communicating to you, but also being that great human being that sees so much potential and power of positivity and the power of possibility. And then not only can you create them as a leader, but also they'll create more followers too as well. Because when you're engaging with them, you invest time in them. And I truly believe, ladies and gentlemen, the best investment is your investment, bar none, full stop. Because I truly believe that's the thing that we really, how we can effectively communicate is investing that time to learn. Nothing more, nothing less. Because if we're not even willing to learn from one another, then again, how in the Sam Hill are we going to be able to lead anymore moving forward? Because if I don't listen to Bob, then Bob is going to be seeing that in so many different ways that he's going to probably end up going to Susie and maybe mimicking the same things that I do. It could be not only on a conscious level, but also on a subconscious level. Think about that for a moment. Because again, in this very collaborative article, it does say, and I'll put it right back up here for you guys to read it again, is they come and say these great things as how can you foster an honest and communication in the workplace. And the way I see it is we can do it from a great many ways. And what they do say is lead by example, active listening, constructive feedback, regular check-ins, transparency policy, encourage diversity. Absolutely 110%, ladies and gentlemen. All that is interconnected. It is all there. And for me, in the way I communicate, I'm more verbal than I am from a written standpoint. That's just the way I've always been in and of itself. I truly believe you get more out of that when you actually see somebody, see their mannerisms, see how they respond, not only on their intentional cues that they put out, but those subliminal clues that they do it from a nonverbal kind of standpoint, because you get more of an engagement out there. Because when you're doing it by phone, or sometimes even when you're doing it by an email, you probably may not get the same level of communication that you're looking for and desiring, or maybe the same thing with them. They're not looking for the same thing in and of itself, because it's a completely different paradigm when you really think about when you communicate in those other ways, because that's part of the communication process. So when you think about email is a little bit different than it is from a video kind of dynamic. Because see, when you put that in tandem with an email with a video, it gets more of a complete picture to a certain degree. But when you add that video with that email, with an actual in-person kind of dynamic, and you can be universal in one way, shape, matter, or form in the way you're communicating that out to your team and your team leads, it's a whole different ball game, but you're putting all in that together as literally a great symphony and orchestra or a music sheet, however you want to call it, that you're bringing all that together and being united by it and everything like that. And then there's some people, I kid you not, can learn by listening, learn by seeing, and learn by doing, getting their hands dirty and everything like that. Because when you communicate something out, sometimes that will work for them, and then when they all get, sometimes I'm that kind of way. I got to not only see it and I got to hear it, I got to do it to really get it sink in. That's the way I just work and everything like that. But when you recognize that from every single person on your team and you allow them to lead with their humanity every day and every way, and then you allow yourself to do the very same thing, not only from a place of leadership and followership, but of one of human connectivity, it changes the game in the organization that you're leading or in the organization that you're a part of and working with. And I truly believe, ladies and gentlemen, when we just allow that to be there and you foster that engagement and you encourage that engagement and you literally bring people to the table each and every single time, the next thing you know, the organization will grow and thrive again like never before. And that's going to be a net positive versus a net negative, in my estimation. I actually believe in my heart of hearts, and we believe it here at Bringing Humanity Together too as well. If you just do sometimes the simple things that lead into the bigger things, that's going to matter more than the big things sometimes, more often than not. But then again, the worst way to communicate, I actually believe, and some people might have a different opinion on that, and that's okay, and I love that. I even embrace that. Is if you don't even communicate at all, or you can communicate in one way and they think it in completely 180-degree opposite. And I'm sure that's happened to a lot of us in and of itself, that we communicate in one way when we think it's from a place of simplicity, when it's actually 180 degrees to opposite in what they are thinking and seeing and what they're hearing, and they sometimes don't get it. But I use that as a learning opportunity, and here's why we all should look at that as a learning opportunity. Because when we look at it as a learning opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, again, we can then be able to see or even believe what they are seeing and believing, even in that present moment. Even if they may not understand us, that's okay. That's why you have open and engaging dialogue with people to say, hey, I want to know what you're thinking right now. Is this what you're saying and believing, or am I missing the boat on that? Because again, perspective is a big thing, but also so is perception. So if we start leading by perception, that could take us down a road of deception. Because when you really think about it, if we perceive it to be one way, it may not be actually the way that should be communicated out to those very people. And then again, there'll be that lost in translation kind of moment. That'll be kind of like, I don't know. Is that what he really said? I really didn't get that. But that's why I truly believe when you get back to simplicity, it takes a lot of that other stuff out of the mix. It takes a lot of that other kind of stuff that will hold you back, won't effectively communicate or even effectively connect to your team. Because when you make it simply understood that this is where we want to go, this is how we want to achieve it. And see, I'm the kind of person that recognizes that there's many ways to get to that end result. There's not just one way, because if there was just that one way, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be writing that script from the same book, so to speak. We'll be doing it from the same sheet of music in and of itself. And to a degree, we're actually already doing that now. But if we take that sheet of music or take that very same book could we actually get to the end result in many different ways? I truly believe we can. Because when we open ourselves up to something much larger than of ourselves, not only from a place of leadership or even followership, but again, of one of human connectivity, it changes the whole dynamics, not only in a social interaction space, but also from a place of leadership too as well. And when you just allow that to foster and take hold, not only from a place of communication, but how you get things done, how things is implemented, how things can actually, on the turn of a dime, if something goes wrong, you address it right then and there, and you encourage that and everything. And I truly believe there are many ways to get to the end result. And it's like I share with people every day. I don't care how you start the race. I don't care how you finish the race. And sometimes I don't even care how you show up to the race. But more often than not, if we're not even willing to even show up to the conversation, then we're not even going to show up to the race in and of itself. And so that really matters if you do really want to show up. Because if you don't want to show up for yourself, then how on the Sam Hill are you going to be able to effectively communicate and show up to that race in and of itself, not only as a leader or a follower, but literally as a human connector on that team? So I just let that be for what it is. And I would love to hear your thoughts and insights on this, because communication can go so many different ways. And again, I would highly recommend you guys to really take a look at what John C. Maxwell says, not only in Everyone Communicates, You Connect, but also his great book, The 21 Beautiful Laws of Leadership, and also that great video from Julie Ardar. And not only will I put it in the response in this collaborative article, but also I will put it into the newsletters that will be done on this very collaborative article too as well. And we would love to hear your thoughts and insights on that. And of course, this will be posted on our YouTube channel too as well. But I just truly believe there's so many ways that we can communicate. There's not just one way to communicate, because if there was just one way, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to tell you we would all be doing that one way right now. And think about it. If there was only one way to communicate, there will only be one way to lead. There will only be one way to not only communicate, but there'd be only one way to get said outcome and have that deliverable done or that project done or whatever. There will only be that one way. And I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, who would like to, or even want to live in a world or work in a workplace that only had one way of doing things, or one way to communicate, or one way to connect, or one way to provide a product and service? There isn't. There's not one way. And I truly believe when we are willing to let all that go and find not only better ways to communicate and better ways to connect, but better ways to connect those people that we may not even know who's on our team or is in our community or is in our client base or who is in our customer base. And I truly believe when we let that go far and wide, then the engagement factor and the communication factor will go up more exponentially in scope when you allow that to foster across the whole ecosystem of communication, whether it be internally or externally. It's all there. And because communication is a universal dynamic, it's there. So I truly believe in that, ladies and gentlemen. So please connect with us here at Bringing Humanity Together. You can find us on LinkedIn at Bringing Humanity Together. You can find us on Facebook at Bringing Humanity Together. We have both a community page and a business page, both on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. And we would love to hear from you in and of itself. But like I said, I was kind of compelled to do this video response into this great topic today before us, because like I said, I truly resonate with this in and of itself, because I just truly believe that there's so many ways that we can not only effectively communicate, but effectively connect. So I encourage you guys today, and I'll bring it up back up for you one more time so you guys can be really mindful of it and be really in tune with it. How can you foster open and honest communication in the places that you work with or in? Think about that. How can you foster an open and honest communication level in your workplaces today? How would you achieve it? How would you get it done? Is it just a one size fits all? Or can there be multiple ways to do that? And really ask yourself this, because I truly believe there's so many ways that you can do that. So, again, from all of us here at Bringing Humanity Together and Adaptive Strategies Group, we're so humbled and honored to have this conversation with you moving forward and everything. And also, I'll be posting this very video also as a standalone in and of itself on our LinkedIn page too as well. So that will be coming later on today. So again, you guys have a great and super Saturday. Make it your day, and looking forward to speaking and collaborating with all of you very soon on this very great and engaging topic. So you guys have an amazing day, and let's definitely connect and talk soon. You can follow, like I said, follow us at Bringing Humanity Together on, like I said, Facebook and on LinkedIn. And of course, my personal page is Chris Berryman, both on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. Please connect with me there, and I love to have a great and engaging conversation with all of you in the very near future, and maybe even have a conversation around this and so much more. And let's make that happen. So you guys have a super Saturday. Make it your day. We'll definitely connect and talk soon.